to this lesson. My name is Rusty Cash, and this is the first part of a lesson series titled In the Style of Pop Country Guitar. Before we get started, be sure to look in the description down below the video. There'll be a link there. Click on that and you'll be able to download the backing tracks and the tab and whatever other resources I put in the zip folder for you. I want to say before we get started, this will probably be more of an intermediate to advanced lesson for most people. And that's only because, mostly because I'm using a lot of hybrid picking in this lesson. So if you're not familiar with hybrid picking, it's probably a little bit difficult for you. But I still encourage you to check out the lesson nonetheless. For everybody else who's already familiar with some type of country playing, this may be a little bit more easy, a little easier to you. When we get into the second part of the lesson next week, I'll show you some soloing ideas, and it'll be a little bit more advanced than what we're looking at this week. So let's go ahead and have a look at what we're going to be learning in this lesson. Okay, so now that you've heard the lesson example, we can go ahead and slow the licks down, and I'll show them to you. Before I show you those licks though, I just wanted to point out a few things. We're in the key of G, so your 1-4-5 chord progression is the G, C to the D. When we come to the chorus, I just flip it back around, going from the D back to the C, back to the G. And then on the turnaround, I throw in like an E7 and then an A7, which is very common in country. So what we're doing to sort of get that honky-tonk sound is I'm just playing in these open chord shapes up here around the D, the C, and the G. Kind of like Sweet Home Alabama. You can just kind of stay in this area, in this third position, and not really, I'm not really moving up and down the neck. I'm just using a lot of pull-offs. Look at the notes in those pull-offs, because two of the important notes are the B flat and the F. The B flat, you know, with respect to our major key, G, well, the B flat is our flat third. The F is our flat 7. So those two notes are really commonly found in your blues scales, and that's what kind of gives us this honky-tonk country sound as we're pulling off and just making a combination of licks within the well, combination of melodies or sounds within the licks themselves. The second verse, I'm just using some licks out of really just the G minor blues scale. A very common country lick, so you guys who are familiar with country have probably played some of these licks before. The last part, the chorus, I'm just using thirds. We're just moving up and down the neck, playing with thirds. And the reason I like doing this is because it just kind of gets, it's like putting a blueprint, you know, before you begin soloing. You get familiar with where all your chord shapes are, where all your triads are, where all your thirds are, so that when you go into soloing, you can you know, blister up and down the neck. And that's kind of how we think when a lot of country guitar players think. They think around the triads, they think around the chord shapes. Not so much in terms of scales, but as you get further advanced into country playing, you start learning where these interesting notes, like the flat thirds, the flat 7, the sharp 4, flat 5, whatever, where you start to learn where all these notes are and how they create these interesting sounds within country music. So so keep that in mind as we go along through these lessons. So let me go ahead and slow these licks down, show you how to play them. Pay particular attention to my right hand because I am hybrid picking, and some of you may need a little bit of help with that. Okay, so here's the left hand for lick 1. I'm going to play it fast. Okay, so if I slow that down a little bit. Okay, now I'll slow it down even slower. So just like my ring finger of my left hand was rooted or anchored at the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, my middle finger and my 3rd finger are pretty much going to stay on the, well, my middle finger will be on the 3rd string and my 3rd finger will be on the 2nd string, consistently pulling up on those strings. My pick will be crossing strings, getting all the other pull-offs, open strings, hammer-ons, and things of that nature. So let's do it again slow. Okay, so I'm going to play the second lick for you. We're still playing over the G, C, and the D. Okay, so if I slow that down a little bit. Okay, so if I slow it down a little slower. For the second lick. Alright, so let's slow it down a bit. Okay, and then for the last lick, I'm just really using my middle finger on the higher string and my pick on the lower string. Except there at the very end, I'm just grabbing all those strings at once. Okay guys, so that concludes today's lessons. Thanks for dropping by. I'd like to invite you back this time next Thursday, as I'll be putting up another video for part 2 of this series, and I may put up another additional third lesson, I don't know yet. And on Monday, be sure to tune in my channel as well, because I put up lessons with just about guitar in general, such as beginner guitar, intermediate guitar, things of that nature. And I just talk about a wide variety of things with respect to guitar, not necessarily country guitar. Be sure to comment, leave your lesson suggestions in the comment section down below, and I would like to invite you to subscribe to these lessons, because in the future I do plan on doing some interesting things like giveaways, maybe some contests, things of that nature. So that's our lesson for the day, and thanks for stopping by.